Good Monday morning to each of you, my beautiful and wonderful people. I am truly excited of all the great and marvelous things that God is doing on behalf of his people. But I want to come and encourage each and every one of you to stay the course. Y'all, things are happening at a rapid pace. God is moving and God is doing some extraordinary things. July is not over. It is still Christmas in July, y'all. God does not take back his word or his promises. God does not lie. We all know that. What God says, he's obligated to do it. Now, whether or not he's doing it this month, next month, or in the next 3 to 4 months, that's totally up to God. He's already set an appointed time. But this is what I need you guys to understand. Stay in alignment with God and follow his instructions. Now, I'm going to say this. As humans, we fall short. When we are operating in the flesh, we're going to do things. And I'm going to be very transparent with y'all. I know it's hard when you're waiting for your person to come. It is. And we fall into sin. Okay? We're going to leave it at that. We fall into sin. God understands it's going to happen, y'all. And I would just like to use my imagination to believe that oftentimes this is why we go through separations, is because God is separating us from the way that the world and other people do it. You see what I mean? I hope it's making sense. Let's look at it like this. Okay, let's look at it like this. When we sin, the enemy wants to keep us in that sin. The only way out of that sin is by going to God and repenting with a true heart, y'all. We're gonna fall short. Yes, I know they'll tell you, oh, his strength is made perfect in your weakness. But if you know that this is a weakness that you have, oftentimes maybe that's just not the thing for you to do, not to be around your person right now. And sometimes that's why separation happens, because yes, he's working on each of us individually, but he doesn't want us to, mess up what's actually happening. Because here's the thing. He wants our person to see how unique we are, why we're different. He wants the person to make the right choice. And here's the thing. You know how we go on job interviews and they ask us the question, what makes you different and why should we hire you? If we are fornicating and doing things no different than the world with our person, then how does he know he's getting different? This is something God had to drop in my spirit, y'all. Y'all ain't the only one out here struggling. And then the first thing most people gonna say, well, if you slept with him, that ain't from God. That's not true. You do things on a day-to-day basis that ain't of God, but God never took his hands off of you. Why do we put God in such a box when it comes to like very specific things? But God is the Almighty and God is the everything when it comes to other things. Come on, y'all. That's not how it operates. It's okay for God to be God in your sin, but it's not okay for God to be God in mine. Just because it does not look the way everyone else wants it to look does not mean it is not God, y'all. This is why you have to be mindful of what you're coming into agreement with. And coming into an agreement with things is by listening to, allowing it to come in and distract you and confuse you. Because that's what the devil is doing. He's coming to steal, kill, destroy. He's coming to steal your happiness, your joy, your peace, your strength. He's coming to kill your dreams, your ambitions, your goals, and to destroy everything that God has already ordained for your life. He don't want you to have it, y'all. I done had dreams where the enemy have stood face to face with me and told me I didn't deserve the person that God chose for me. He told me that my person was worth fighting for, and he was going to keep fighting for him. So guess what I got to do? I have to keep fighting. I'm not supposed to let you go that easy. You're not supposed to have what God done already said I could have. It's just not with my person. It's with everything in my life. It gets confusing at times. This is why we have to stay connected to God. Even when we sin, we have to stay connected to God and stay at his feet, y'all. Because this is the time that things are going to happen and the enemy is pulling all of his last minute tricks. But at the same time, we have to do our part, even when it's not so easy to do. Yeah, he looked good in them Levi's. He looked good with that beard. You feel me? With the chocolate skin or whatever you like. He looked good. Very tempting. And your heart is already postured for him. But at the same time, when he shows up, you got to be able to set your boundaries in place until it's time. The scripture tells us, do not awaken love before it's time, y'all. We cannot move ahead of God. And if we fall into that sin, as most of us have, lay it at the feet of Jesus. Stand out. This is what God is doing in this time for us, y'all. He's trying to make us stand out like he did with Esther among all the rest of the women. God is helping us to show us how we are to stand out. Do not allow the enemy to come in and tell you something other than what God has already told you and what he's shown to you, what he's confirmed to you, and what the scripture said. Because these are all of the things that God is doing to show you that he's already told you who your person is. Stay with God in this, y'all. I'm not getting ready to sit here and tell y'all, don't sin. I'm not going to tell y'all that. I'm not going to judge y'all. Because guess what? I'm human too. And that attack comes over me too. But what I will say is try your best to keep yourself away from it. And when God is ready, and when that time comes, he's going to know why you're different. He's going to know why he needs to choose you. See, a lot of people don't understand the whole kingdom thing. When you are praying for your person, it needs to be for their salvation, for their spirit, for their soul, that they return back to God. Because he belongs to God before he belongs to anybody. And a lot of these people are actual prodigals from God. It's not necessarily prodigals with us. It's prodigals with God. We are to pray that they return to God. Once they return to God and get in alignment with God, everything else falls in line. Don't allow others that do not have an understanding of what's going on to, take you off of the path that God has led you on. Because this journey is not for everybody, and it's not for the weak. It's not going to happen the way everybody thinks it should happen. There are going to be bumps in the road. You're getting all this out the way right now. So when he does bring us together, not to say we're not going to have no problems, but it's not going to be like everybody else. So y'all, it's close. Stay close to God, because you never know at any moment it's going to happen. Y'all have a good day.